Hello! So, you probably already know that I had a super big secret meeting that I couldn't tell you about, and I would have loved to have told you sooner, but I've probably known about this for far too long, actually. But I'm really excited to finally share this with you. So let's dive in. This is a video exclusive that's going to be a deep dive in not only the official trailer for Subnautica 2, which you're about to see my first reaction, but also everything they shared in private with me about Subnautica 2. New vehicles, new equipment, new Leviathans, a new planet, new everything. This is the official Subnautica 2 reveal. Oh yeah, that's starting like Subnautica should. Wait, we're in trouble. Oh! Okay, hey, it's us! Wait, hang on, we were just unconscious. Oh, that scanner! Oh! Ooh, what is that? Giant crab! What was that? Hang on, I saw something. Oh, wow, you can see so much detail. Look at the moisture on her helmet. Leviathan? Oh, it's another person. Oh! Multiplayer! Oh, that looks so sick! That's so sick! That's not okay. Holy shit! Yo! No way! We wanted something like this! We wanted a creature like this! No way! They actually listened and brought this type of thing in! Oh, this is Subnautica the way everyone wanted it. 2025. Wow. Oh, I have so much to talk about. I just saw so much in that small clip. So the trailer starts with us floating down in the middle of the ocean into the deep abyss, and I can see very clearly we're in a very advanced dive suit. Given the fact that I'm pretty sure this takes place after the events of the original Subnautica, I think it's pretty safe to say that. Looks like the dive suit helmet is also different and it's a complete glass bubble instead, and this dive suit appears to be significantly more powered than the previous generation dive suit we used on 4546B. The high-capacity O2 tank seems like it might be a little bit more streamlined and condensed into, I don't know, like a smaller package, but this does look very much like the high-capacity O2 tank. What I'm noticing here is all of this cyan. This is all like powered lighting. So this dive suit is, to me, significantly more advanced and significantly more capable than the previous generation. In all honesty, I would almost go as far as saying it looks like it uses the same nanotech as what you see in the exosuit in Subnautica. So right away, we know that Subnautica 2 is made in UE5, and it looks glorious with all its incredible lighting and everything else. This looks like an area that's very reminiscent of the Safe Shallows as well, and we can see the player back here, which would be us, scanning a rock formation. This rock formation is actually the giant crab that we saw in the next scene. Now, something else to note as well is you see this in the background. This looks like ruins. That looks like it's a man-made structure. That does not look like a natural structure in the slightest. So I don't know what the deal is with that. It's clearly not architect in nature. It's nothing to do with the architects because they had very advanced technology. This looks primitive. That looks very primitive in its own right. But we are seeing the shell of that giant crab even better. And I have a lot of theories on this creature too, actually, from what I've seen and what I've been able to dive into. I also want to make a note that it appears the trailer is not flowing in the correct order. Like, with the audio it is, but the scenes themselves seem like they're taken in a different order. So we'll reconstruct the trailer again in the order that I feel it's supposed to be in. This gives you an idea of the graphical fidelity within the game. You see the glass is cracked right here, so we took some kind of impact, and it's kind of reminiscent to the original Subnautica's intro, where, you know, we get smacked in the head by that the panel. Except, you know, this is our suit that's damaged and not our head directly. You can also see some water and like just moisture buildup in general. Incredible graphical detail. So now we get to see the player scanning. We can see the new scanning animation, and if you look closely, look at the creature itself up right here. You see all the like stuff building around it, but then the creature comes to life because it's not actually a giant rock. And this is kind of cool because this is very reminiscent of the original planned reef bag. Not the one we have now, but we'll touch base on that shortly because it also goes into the document. Also, strangely enough, I have not found any Altera markings on any of the equipment that's shown in this. Like, there's no markings that Altera are even involved in this. We kind of just use their company's branding colors, more or less, but I haven't seen anything to confirm it. I also want you to take note of this scanner. Look at what's floating above it. Now, to me, that's not a normal scanner. And like, if you look on the side of it, it almost looks like it has an upgrade chip slot. So I think that this scanner is upgraded, which would mean you would be able to upgrade your equipment. You could upgrade your items and have them do things just differently and better. And then we move into the crab itself and it revealing itself, but there's something different about this creature because this thing also gets up and it doesn't even seem to care about the player. Look at it. It's moving away. It's just gonna walk away. It doesn't even care. By the way, God rays right here, like a little rainbow effect. Looks incredible. Pretty damn cool. Like the graphical fidelity is insane. The graphical quality is just actually insane. But this thing doesn't care about the player. And again, it's another attribute that's akin to the reefback in that it's a very docile, doesn't really care about you creature. Like, it just starts walking away from the player. Honestly, I might just call this the leg back at this point, because it basically seems like it's a giant Leviathan that exhibits the same behavioral traits as that previous creature. So yeah, leg back it is. Now, in the background, if you look closely, you're gonna see a very large structure. This, to me, also looks like it's made by intelligent life. That's a temple. That's some kind of temple or something. And there's more of them in the background. You can see the tops of them because these aren't normal structures that are made in nature. You can see over right here too, like, I think this is some kind of like dilapidated structure where you can see the you can basically see the bones of like a temple ruin, like the top of it, like it's completely eroded away. So whatever we're dealing with in this planet, whatever mystery is here, not architects, it's something else, probably more primitive. Now, what I noticed in the trailer when I said, hey, I saw something, was this right here over on the left. So maybe I'm reaching for the stars, but maybe this right here is a face. That's what I thought I saw, a face. You see like the forehead coming down to the nose, it kind of just angles down again, goes down to the mouth, and then this is the chin, then it goes down to the neck. To me, this looks like it would be a face if you were like looking at it straight on. Now I know that it looks like a big piece of coral and whatever else, but it looks like it was carved into it and then over time eroded, and you know, it was part of whatever ancient civilization made this structure up right here. And then of course we get sucked down by the whirlpool, and you know, whatever is causing this, whatever is doing this, it looks kind of intentional in all honesty, and I don't know why this would be even here, other than to bring us down to meet something. Once again, we're down, and this time we're waking up, and the condensation is on our helmet. We look around, and we're in the deep depths of the ocean itself. But we're in luck because there is another player with us. This entire scene signifies multiplayer. This entire scene, this isn't like another person that's a protagonist or anything, or like someone that we meet for a linear storyline. This is a multiplayer character, I believe. Like, I'm 99% sure of that. I know that they are not doing anything below zero related with this version of Subnautica. This is Subnautica at its core, what people asked for. We wanted multiplayer. We wanted like a Cthulhu type of squid monster. We wanted a bigger world. We wanted a deeper world. We wanted a new world. We wanted advanced tech. We wanted to be able to upgrade all of our stuff. You know, this is what we wanted. We told Unknown Worlds. They listened clearly, and they are delivering on pretty much every promise that we wanted. Now, this submarine, I believe, is called the Tadpole. I'd need to reference the image that I have of this too. But I do want to make a note that this submarine is not a normal submarine. I don't believe it is. I'm like 99% sure of that. See these on the side of it, these dots? They look like connecting ports. Maybe even this little black thing down right here. That might be a connecting port too, but I'm a little more skeptical on this. But I think this is a cockpit for a modular system. I think that this turns into either a bigger submarine or it turns into a giant mech suit, or possibly both. I don't think they're going to be making a submarine like the Cyclops. I don't think they're going to make another prawn suit. I think they tried the modular system in Below Zero, and they made the sea truck. To me, it was a learning experience, and if they were going to make something modular now, like, they know how to do it. It's not like a learning experience. They've done it in the past, and they've done it fairly well, I feel. So I think this would knock it out of the park. We'll touch base on that as well soon. And then the main character. The giant Cthulhu-looking squid thing. Now, this entire scene feels like one big throwback to the original Subnautica trailer. You know, with the Sea Emperor, and it's like, it appears underneath the player, and the player it just seems unaware, and then, you know, like it roars, and it makes the Sea Emperor look like the bad guy, and oh no, a big terrifying underwater creature, oh, it's the end of the world. It just turned out to be a bait and switch, where the Sea Emperor was the good guy. The Sea Emperor contacted us, it was intelligent, you know, it helped us like have a bit more structure and flow to the story, even though they basically nailed having a free open world experience on the head with little tidbits of like, hey, by the way, you can go do this whenever you want. But I feel specifically in this scene, with the display shown on the head opening up the way that it does to look like a giant glowing brain, that feels like an artistic representation of intelligence. That feels like this creature is going to be intelligent and possibly be able to communicate with us. I don't fully believe that Cthulhu here is the enemy or the bad guy, though he has some pretty freaky mouth tentacles that just, yeah, I mean, you know, like, okay, I know it maybe looks like its mouth is opening too, revealing a beak, but okay, maybe this is the bad guy. But, you know, like, the idea is there, and there is misdirection. There is a lot of, like, hiding the story, and it's not clickbait on their part. This is to protect the integrity of the story, so we can't really tell and digest what the story is, because they want that stuff to be a surprise. They want us to be like, oh, that's so cool, we didn't even see that coming. Like the Sea Emperor, we didn't see that coming. But that's that so far, and you know what? Maybe it's just the legback's final form. And you'll understand why I'm saying that now in a moment, because I have a lot of pictures that I'm going to show you now, too. And we're going to go over that document that they gave me. I've got a number of pictures that I'm going to go ahead and examine with you now. Starting off with this one, which looks can be very deceiving. Right off the bat, I did notice there are thermal vents in the background of this image itself. But we go down and this is the main focus, besides what is believed to be the tadpole submarine, or submersible, whatever you want to call it. A better angle of it as well. Now let me make my case, okay? This is the propulsion right here. Two of these little engines are what push it, along with the engine down right here. This looks like it might move a little bit, maybe for stability or something, but this looks more like a coupling device to me. Like this would fan open and attach to something. Along with the idea that this is protruding a little bit, I feel like this would slot into a metal structure or a metal frame even. And then you have these connection points on both sides, and then two little connectors down right here. I feel like this thing is a modular submarine. I do genuinely believe that. I theorized that maybe like 7 months ago when the first leaks came out for the first teaser of this this vehicle actually. But this guy right here, what is this? Well, I think that this creature, we've already seen. We saw it a little earlier in the video. We saw this in an older state. So look at the eyes. 4 eyes. Look at the mouth. It has 2 mandibles. Look at these tentacles reaching down from its face. Look at the legs and the design of the legs. And then the shell and the general hunky body. And the lunky body in the back of it. Excuse me. I think that whatever this creature is, this is the juvenile state. And you can see these little blue things too. These little lumps. And we see that as well. We saw all of this, all of these markings on the giant crab that had the reef on its back, the leg back. We saw all of this. I think that this is the juvenile version, or maybe adolescent, or it's a smaller version of that, I feel. Even over here, you can see it has a similar structure on the back. I don't think it's a relative. I think that this is too close. This is like a smaller copy of that creature. I think that this is a hint that there are dynamic life cycles to some degree in Subnautica 2. Creatures may actually grow and go through different stages of life as we experience them in different zones. Another pointer to this is the fact that the tadpole and the player are so close to this thing. Clearly, this thing isn't aggressive. Clearly, this thing has the same neutral behavior as the legback we saw. It doesn't seem to be aggressive. It seems to be more of a scavenger, maybe even a filter feeder. It has little feelers, you know, like maybe these just grab plankton or like small life forms and, you know, just noms on it that way. Also, don't ask me why, but these firstly, I think these are like hoopfish relatives, and I don't know why they have so many eyes. they can see a lot, I guess. I don't know. The environment is pretty detailed. Looks like some brain coral or something right here with something inside of it. I'm assuming some kind of collectible deposit inside the orifice here. And that's pretty much everything that I noticed within this picture itself. So let's move on to the next one. At the start of the trailer, we saw the scanner, and I told you take note because the upgrade module I feel that it has was blue. This one is green, and green usually signifies architect technology. And I wonder, because this is after the events of Subnautica, if we've incorporated architect technology into our devices. Now, this could also be a DNA sequencer because this kind of looks like it would be something to do with DNA, but I'm no scientist. You get what I mean, though. It seems like it's doing something different, possibly. It's serving a different function, potentially. Now, why do I bring DNA into this? Because this is where we get a little bit deep with this. In the document itself, as a bullet point, it states, you will be evolving your genetics to survive in this hostile environment. Now, genetics and DNA were a big part of what Subnautica was supposed to have. And I have a lot of proof that this was supposed to be a thing because I had my own personal devs for the Red Plague jump into the game files and see what they could find. And they found more that I realized was even there. More than anyone knew was there because there was a whole hookup for this. The whole thing was basically set up within Subnautica, but they didn't do the DNA system. So basically, you would use DNA to enhance yourself, or you would use DNA to enhance a vehicle, or you could use it as part of like upgrading a vehicle. It was kind of insane. It would be used as like part of the recipe to upgrade things. And I mean, this could just be another upgrade. This could just be another upgrade for the scanner to do something else. Who knows? Or maybe you can swap out chips in this little slot and, you know, but to me, this looks like the scanner is upgradable. Now we get a look at a very unique creature with an upside down face. It's kind of strange to have the eyes like that, and I don't think this thing is just swimming upside down because this one is also just swimming and you can see its eye underneath here too. For some reason, these creatures evolved to have their eyes on the bottoms of their head. Now I don't know any biological life that specifically does this, but my theory is that this creature probably swims above somewhere further and it dives down, and that's how it's able to watch what's underneath it. It's an ambush predator that will dive down viciously towards like maybe these little guys or even the player, who knows? It looks like it's a sizable creature. Also, probably something that's completely overlooked from like everything, the fact that the rim of the goggles themselves are like an ocean blue. That orange was very jarring, and it was, oh look, I didn't even see that one up there. Oh, he's way up there. So yeah, they do swim like at a higher depth as well then. That's nice. But this blue, so much nicer than the jarring orange, and I feel like that might be an intentional artistic choice because it's less immersion breaking. It's not going to be as jarring to the eye to look up at the edges of your screen. Everything is kind of full of life. You can see like the sun shadows and how light is impacting the environment and how everything is just lighting up in general. There's a couple of the, I've noticed there's a lot more glowing vegetation too. Vegetation seems to glow a lot more, and even some of the creatures seem to have more glow to them as well. I don't know what this signifies, but it's just part of the environment, and in general, really cool screenshot, but I don't have much more to take away from this right now at least. This image is called Plateaus. Now this image is called Wakemaker, and I imagine that's because they called these the Wakemaker. Now we're used to using the Sea Glide, which would take up like the middle of your screen. It was kind of cumbersome and annoying, but like it worked. But like, this is a very modern take, I feel, and a very welcome change to the design of how we get around a little bit faster under the ocean. Right away in this picture, I noticed just down here, there is metal debris, almost like another crashed ship, or something is down here, but that looks like a piece of scrap metal. That looks like something was destroyed down here, and me and my friend are going to see this in multiplayer because we can play multiplayer. We also see that same upside down fish head thing is here in this environment. It looks like it's a little bit deeper than the previous image, but we're probably going to find these all around within the world of Subnautica in all honesty. We get a really good look too at the character that is player 2 basically, and what they're wearing. High capacity O2 tank. Looks like there's 3 tanks on this. No markings for if it's Altera or what company owns the property. Actually, it looks like it's a little bit scuffed up and damaged here, funny enough now. It doesn't look like it's a fresh suit anymore. It looks like it's been used, weathered, and worn. Might be a logo here blurred out because it's using motion blur, but it looks to me more like wear and tear. on your equipment. So maybe you need to repair your equipment as you're diving through the ocean. And the Wakemaker looks damn cool. I think it looks really cool. And it looks like it uses a normal battery. This right here, I'm willing to bet, is like a battery slot. I've also noticed too that it seems like with the Wakemaker attached, the cyan blue on the suit that was glowing kind of dim before is now a lot brighter. That signifies that this suit is a much more advanced suit that uses electricity or power. Maybe it's a powered suit, and it also looks, again, like that nanotech that's used in the exosuit, the Mark II, when you have it upgraded to maximum depth of like 1,700 meters. And we also see this armored guy right here, which we're about to get another look at in a moment, because it's in the next picture, I believe. But we'll talk more on this in a minute. And finally, this giant structure. You see this giant, huge structure, a little hole up there. Looks like it's got some stuff coming off, and it's what's holding it up, basically, on both ends. This kind of reminds me of the giant crab again, the legback. That's what it reminds me of. But I know, like, it's not that creature, but for some reason, this hits me the wrong way with it, where, like, it reminds me of it. But, like, the giant hole right here, there's another hole here. I kind of question if maybe these crab things grow so much that they get massive, and then when they pass on, their shells create the foundation for, like, new life and coral reefs and stuff like that. I kind of wonder if, like, this at one point was one of those, and it just happened to pass on here, and then this whole structure got made as a result. Because, I mean, these things don't really just form like this floating. I mean, this is kind of insane. Either erosion or it's the leg back, but this kind of looks more like one of those. We'll know when we get further into this, but to me, it looks like they've tried to incorporate more into the environment with the creatures, and I hope I'm right on that. Some collectible material there as well. And here we go. We're into the shallows, which is what this image is called. And now we see that fish that I said we were going to revisit. I'm pretty sure these two right here, this guy over right here, and this one are both that same fish. Which, honestly, I call this the sunfish because it looks like it's opened up and the sun's behind it and it's soaking in the rays, but I don't think that's exactly what it's doing. That's just what it appears to be doing. Look at its mouth. It has little needle teeth, and these kind of look like they'd be relatively sharp and hard as well, and almost like they're teeth on the ends of this. I think that this thing is going to be hostile, and it's going to attack the player, and this one's more curious and not really triggered to attack the player yet, so it signifies different creature behaviors. This one looks a little bit more curious. This one looks a little more like it's gonna attack you, especially with its eyes looking so nasty like that. It looks like it's angry at me for some reason. And funny enough, this picture is also, I believe, the same location where they teased Subnautica 2 months ago in the pods that they were dropping in the ocean. I also noticed what seems to be eggs or something. Whatever these glowing things are, they're either a collectible resource or they're eggs, because some of these are empty, like this one right here. Some of them have eggs in them. There's another one down right here, and then this one right here is empty. And then in the trailer as well, at the beginning, when we were going through the safe shallows, we also saw some of these creations, these creatures. We also saw some of this flora, but it didn't have eggs in them. Some of them didn't. Some of them did. Oh, and also, it seems like floaters, they're making a comeback in this world as well, from what I can tell of this. That's gonna be fun. And finally, the lava zone. What Subnautica game is complete without a lava zone? Answer is none of them. This is called Graveyard, however, for the image picture itself. And we see an entirely new species of shark. Whatever these things are, I don't know. They remind me of the shark that was teased in the concept art that was like shown a while ago. But like, I wish I had more I could comment about this picture in specific, but like, it just, to me, looks like there's a lot of thermal activity. It looks like the vegetation is different to signify, you know, completely different living conditions, hazardous living conditions, not an area you really want to go to without being prepared. And just in general, this zone looks really cool, but I don't really have much more I can tell you about this zone. Kind of looks like a mesmer might be right there, but I don't think that is a mesmer. I think it's a different type of fish. And then there's a different species up right here we haven't seen yet, but I think that this might just be one of those far off. Really shows off the lighting though. The lighting is actually beautiful. And finally, the Subnautica 2 key art, which I was lucky enough to get this directly from the developers as a very high resolution image, and this shows the giant Kraken Cthulhu thing in the background with its pincers and tentacles, the two divers signifying multiplayer, so on and so forth. You know, they're looking around, seeing what's going on. It looks like they're using different helmets though. That's one thing that I noticed from this, and they're using different tanks as well. These are 2 different tanks. Before, we were seeing the one with 3 tanks. These ones have 2 tanks, and the dive helmet itself is entirely different from what we saw. Also, a new type of flashlight it appears. And to me, it looks like they're using 2 different types of fins. They're not using the same type of fins. These are 2 different types. Hang on a second. There's something... Wait, what is... Hang on, wait. There's something on the bottom of this? Is that... What is that? What is that supposed to be? Hang on, is that a texture glitch? That might be a texture glitch or something. Because it looks like this wraps onto the shoe itself, but I don't know if that's like the tread of the shoe coming through on it, or if that's like a sticker or some kind of like little Easter egg. I don't know what that would be. It looks to me like it might be a graphical issue, but very different designs on the back of them, I feel. And a better look at this creature, 2 glowing eyes, and then the brain head itself that it has some spikes on the background. It's a very large Leviathan. This thing probably dwarfs the Sea Emperor. This thing would probably rip a Sea Emperor in half. We can see some vegetation as well, some flora that glows. But in general, that's everything to do with the images from Subnautica 2 that we were given early. Now we're going to move into the document and the meat and potatoes. I'm assuming I'm allowed to share this with you, but this is directly from the document itself. I'll give you the TLDR, but you can read the entire post if you want. In the game description, Subnautica 2 is the next game, obviously, we all knew about that was coming down the pipeline. Launches in 2025 as early access on Steam, the Epic Games Store, Windows Store, and game preview on Xbox Series XS with Xbox Game Pass. Under the key features, we can explore with friends, which we just talked about. We can craft submersibles, tools, and bases. The game will feature an overhauled building system, which I'm looking forward to. That'll let you make bases more flexibly. So I'm assuming we're not going to be doing like the copy paste, you know, like has to be in a certain location in order for it to connect to your base. This is going to be more modular and more open to make whatever you really want, which would be great. We can find new diverse biomes, and these biomes will have their own unique creatures and unique things within them, and even hidden mysteries. So it seems like they're sticking to the idea that different biomes should have different creatures, and I really do enjoy that. I like that they create these creatures and give them a designated zone to live in that will support their life. This one we saw earlier, it talks about being able to scan new creatures, and you're able to evolve your own genetics to survive in a hostile environment. It comes as no shock, the planet is going to be large and it's going to be deep. Now I don't know if we get like an entire planet to explore, or if we just get like a certain region, kind of like in Subnautica with the Aurora region where it crashed and stuff, but obviously, either way, it's going to be a massive map. Being built in UE5, this is probably going to be much bigger and much deeper than we ever imagined Subnautica to be. And as always, build the game with us. Them, not me and you, but your feedback will help shape Subnautica 2. And if you remember, the storyline of Below Zero was entirely changed because the community wanted it to be changed. And they listened, and they changed things, and they added Leviathans, and they added different things to the Void for us because we wanted that. They listen to us if we want it, if we tell them to change something, and it's actually like agreeable, then yeah, they do it. I was fortunate enough to be trusted by Krafton and Unknown Worlds with this massive secret, and I'm so happy I could tell you guys about it. So a huge thank you to them. I hope you love what you saw, and make sure you check back because I will be bringing you more news about Subnautica 2.